Hey guys. Okay, so I really felt like it was important to do this video. I wanted it to be really chill, laid back, no pressure kind of a thing, because I'm very bad at forming my thoughts in a way that telling a story makes sense to somebody else. Does that make any sense? I don't even know. So it's late at night. It's really late at night. I have all the kids in bed because I knew if I tried to do this when any of them were awake, it wouldn't work out. So I have Aiden right here on his video monitor, and I have Liren right here on this baby monitor. So I'm sitting here with like two monitors, so I may be interrupted, but that's okay. It's fine. We're going to make it work. I've got my coffee. Coffee is always important, you guys. For in-depth discussions, you need coffee. It's a must. If you don't have coffee, go get you a cup. This might take a minute. Okay, so by now, I'm sure you guys all know about Karen and Joe from 6 Blind Kids. I will have their channel linked below. You guys go check them out, go subscribe. They are an amazing family. They are truly amazing. Like, I don't even have words for how kind these people are, and for how giving and understanding and supportive and such a desire to help others and spread a positive message. And they have along with Sleep Safe have gifted Aiden with a Sleep Safe bed. Now, as I am making this video, that bed is not yet here. We are in the middle of this Corona COVID-19 epidemic. We're all homebound. They were halfway here, you guys. They were halfway here, and we had to turn around and go home. And it was nobody's fault. It's just how things are. And, you know, your family safety comes first and foremost. So they had to pack up and head back home. So this has not worked how we had originally planned. However, we are still going to be joyful, and we're going to move forward, and we still want this message to be just as impactful as it would have been had things worked out according to plan. So yeah, I wanted to go over Aiden's bed journey, because you guys, it's been a journey. His journey with his bed has been a journey. So throughout this video, you're going to see pictures come up on the screen, and I have them on my phone right here in the chronological order that I'm going to put them in to the video. So I'm hoping I don't mess this up. I'm going to edit this tomorrow. So we'll see you guys. I need coffee, hold up. So, I'm gonna back up, way back up, you guys. So far back up to to August of 2011. Now, at this time, Piper was very, very little. We felt called to adopt when we started the adoption process to bring home Narkis and Aiden. At the time, it was just, you know, something that we wanted to do someday. We didn't really think it was going to happen soon, but we kind of started doing the research at that point. And then I could go into this. I'm not going to get into their whole adoption story because that is in another video. And I don't want this video to be like 2 hours long, and it would be if I went through like the whole story. So skipping ahead to December of 2013, right? We have officially adopted Narkis and Aiden. They are adopted from Ukraine. Aiden spent the first 6 years of his life in a mental institution in Ukraine. He was deprived of basic nutrients, medical care. He was very deprived in a lot of ways. And when he came to us, he weighed only 23 pounds. I'm going to put the picture of Aiden right after we got him right here. And as you can see, he is complete skin and bones, you guys. He is 6 years old in this photo, and he weighs only 23 pounds. Severely neglected. And Narquise was somewhat the same way. You know, he was 10, but he was a little bit healthier, and I think that was because he was more communicative about his needs. So his needs were a little bit more met, but again, no medical care, no previous medical care that we were told of, that we were given knowledge of, I will say that. So we knew beforehand what our boy's special needs were. We knew that Aiden was totally blind, and we knew that he had some cognitive delay. That's all we knew. We figured, you know, it's fine. I'm sure he'll be fine. You know, when he comes home, we'll teach him Braille. I don't know what I was thinking. I was so young. I was so naive. I just thought we're gonna bring him home and everything's gonna be fine, and we're gonna take him to the doctor. And if you guys don't hear me mention Narquise a lot in this video, that's because this is not about Narquise. This video is specifically about Aiden and his journey to receiving this amazing gift that is the Sleep Safe bed. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, because I know I'll get questions. Why aren't you talking about Narquise? Because Narquise is awesome too. So this is gonna be really hard to edit. I can already tell I'm gonna have a really hard time editing this. Okay, so I very stupidly thought that we had everything set up. I bought the boys bunk beds, you guys, and I was like, yes, this is awesome. This is gonna be amazing. Narquise will get the bottom bunk, Aiden will get the top bunk, we'll be good to go. And I'll show you guys a picture right here. These are the bunk beds that I had set up in their cute little room that I worked so hard to decorate. And I thought, oh man, this is going to be perfect. Well, a couple weeks after we had those set up, we got a phone call from a missionary who told us that Aiden really had a little bit more cognitive delay than what we had originally planned for. That was okay with us. We adjusted, we said, okay, well, let's maybe swap it. So this photo, it has Zoe in the middle, kind of leaning down or whatever, but you can see we moved the bunk beds down to be 2 separate beds, and we thought, that's it, that's good, that'll be perfect. So that's how we left the beds and we traveled to Ukraine to adopt these awesome kiddos. And Aiden did have a lot of significant needs. You know, when we got there, it was a lot. He was, I don't know how to explain this and not make it sound like I'm putting him down in some way, because that's not what it is. His needs were a lot more significant than what we had originally planned for or even fathomed. He was far more delayed and had a lot more issues than what we had originally thought. And we really, really struggled when we first met Aiden. Is this going to work? You know, we had those moments, is this going to work? And I remember in Ukraine, we went back to our apartment that night after meeting the boys for the first time. It's gonna make me cry. We went back to our apartment that night after meeting the boys, and we prayed. We prayed so hard because we didn't know if we were gonna bring him home. We didn't know if this was going to be too much for our family, and we knew that if it was, then it wouldn't be fair to Aiden, it wouldn't be fair to our girls back home, it wouldn't be fair to anybody. We felt God tell us that he was our son, and we already knew even before we traveled that he was our son. And you know, we feel like we had that initial doubt and fear just sort of take us over after we met him, but we knew Aiden was our son. And after that moment, we proceeded. We said, it's fine, we're going to make it work, because he needed a family more than we needed to be comfortable. Does that make sense? He needed a mom and dad, and there was no excuse that we could possibly come up with that would overpower his need for a family, because we could adjust, and we knew we could. So we got Aiden home. Oh boy, we got Aiden home, and I will never forget, you guys, this first night. We got him in the house. I was really excited, you guys. I was so excited. I brought him down to his bed that first night, and I tucked him in, and we read stories, and it was like my little dream come true. I had my boys, and I had my 2 sweet girls sleeping upstairs, and everything was perfect. And I remember I went and I sat on the couch with Asa, and we started talking, and we were just ready to rest and kind of be done for the night, because our kids were, we had older children at that point. Piper was 2, Zoe was 5. They were all sleeping through the night. We thought it was all good. Not even 10 minutes later, we hear Aiden downstairs in his room, ow, 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 making a lot of noise. Narkis then starts yelling at Aiden. Then we hear banging and scratching, and so we go down to investigate. Aiden is off of his bed, sitting on top of Narkis's bed on his face, literally sitting on Narkis's face. So we were like, oh gosh, this might not work out. And I think we did maybe 2 or 3 nights with the beds like that before I turned to some other special needs mamas, and I was asking for advice. What can I do to keep my child in his bed and safe? Because those first 2 or 3 nights, you guys, scared me so bad. I found Aiden in the bathtub one night with the water running. I found Aiden messing with the front door lock. I found Aiden in the kitchen. I found Aiden in the laundry room. He went into Piper's room and woke her up. It was scary that my totally blind autistic son, and he wasn't diagnosed as autistic at that time, but we knew it was autism in conjunction with his blindness. It was scary that he was roaming the house at night while we were sleeping, and was essentially unsupervised. So we knew that had to change. We knew that couldn't keep happening, and a lot of fear and a lot of sleepless nights. And I would sleep on the couch for many, many nights and kind of wait for him to get up. And he always did. He always did 10, 20 minutes after we put him to bed. We tried locking the door. He figured out how to unlock the door. Oh my gosh, I'm literally getting a headache thinking about how hard that time was. But we had a friend recommend a sleep safe tent. And this tent was designed for children with special needs, for children with autism. It had copper steel like poles. It wasn't like a typical tent. It was extra sturdy, and it had a zipper, and you would just zip it up, and the mattress sat inside of the tent, so it was super safe. The tent itself strapped underneath the bed. The zipper was on the outside, and it had a locking latch. Y'all, I thought that tent was a godsend for about one night. For about one night, I thought that was I thought it was a godsend for about one night. After that one night, Aiden very quickly deciphered how to get out of it. And I'm going to insert a video right here. In this video, you guys, Aiden has crawled underneath his mattress inside of the tent and couldn't get out from underneath his mattress. And he was scared and he was crying. And this was the night that I realized the tent is probably not gonna pan out too well. So I'll show you that right now.
Aiden, honey, how did you even do this, son? Hey, 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 how did you do this? He like totally toppled his little tent over, and he is somehow underneath of the mattress. Narquise! Good boy. Narquise was calling us and told us he did something. Look at him.
How did you get under the bed?
I don't know. Alright, buddy, we're gonna get you out. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. What did you do? What happened to Aiden? Oh, he thinks it's hilarious. What happened? What happened? Was that funny? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. Hang on, we gotta fix your bed. Little stinker.
So as you can see, he was in a little bit of distress. By the time I took this video, this specific tent was his 4th tent like that. He had demolished 1, 2, 3 tents exactly like that prior to that. And he demolished them quickly, within a week for each tent. And we were just, and these tents weren't cheap, you guys. These tents were not cheap, and we just kept having to order them, and we kept ordering them despite the fact that he was breaking them, because we had no other option. There was no solution that we could possibly fathom at that time to keep this child safe. So we just kept ordering these tents, and it was crazy. And he knew those tents. He figured them out. He would break them so quickly. So shortly after that tent incident, I don't remember if we ordered another tent after that, the one in that video, or not. I don't remember. I'm sorry, I wish I remembered. We maybe did, I don't know, because we moved not too long after that video was taken. So we moved to a new house. And when we were moving, we made a trip down to Mississippi, where my husband's grandpa lives. And his grandpa's so sweet and so kind, and he wanted to help, and he's really great with his hands, and he's amazing at building things, and y'all, the man is amazingly talented. And pretty much everything he makes, we absolutely treasure. And he wanted to make Aiden a very special bed that would keep him safe. Oh, goodness me. So, and I have to give him credit. This is when the story gets hard for me, okay? This is when the story gets hard for me. I'm just gonna put a picture of the bed right here. And if you guys have watched our vlogs for any amount of time, you guys have probably seen this specific bed. I'm gonna put it right here. As you can see, it has trampoline netting around it that is basically zip tied, I think. And it has a baby gate that is essentially the door of the bed. And it had a little, just a little latch at the top, middle, and bottom, I believe, of the bed. And we thought this bed was genius, you guys. We thought, this is it. This is gonna keep our boy so safe. He's not gonna be able to get out. And I will say this bed worked the longest in comparison to the bed tents. Now, what you can't see in this picture, and I know I'm keeping this picture up for a really long time, so I apologize. But what you can't see in this picture is that the framing itself of this bed is from a bed from the 1950s. It is not your average size bed. So if you can see the mattress that is in this bed, you can see towards the back, it's kind of flipped up. That is a twin size mattress. That's a standard twin size mattress. So that's how much smaller that bed frame is than your average mattress. It was a very strangely shaped bed, but my husband's grandpa had it sitting in his shop, and that's what he used. What you can't see is underneath that mattress, and I'm going to take the picture down right now. So underneath the mattress, it has a wire framing. It does not have a standard framing underneath it, keeping the mattress up. So it was just metal. I don't know how to explain this, like a crosshatch. Let me draw this really quick, hold on. Springs that was holding this mattress up looked like this. Just, let me see if it'll focus. It just looked like this. And these are just metal wiring that were hooked at each connection point. So that's what the bottom of the spring looked like. That part is very important for this next part of my story. And this is when it gets really difficult. So we had been using this bed for about 6 months when this happened. And it had been working fine. I had to make some minor adjustments here and there. I had to kind of zip tie the netting up a little bit more. But it was working fine. He wasn't getting out. He seemed safe. He was happy. And we always had a baby monitor. We had a baby monitor in his room like this that just recorded sound. But we didn't have like the high-tech video monitor like we do now. So early one morning, it was a school morning. It was about 5 a.m. I'm still in bed, asleep. And Zoe runs in my room. And just to backtrack for a second, on that particular night, I had this on, you know, most of the night. I always kept it low enough that I could hear Aiden, but not so loud that him making little noises would keep my husband and I awake. On that specific night, however, Aiden was being extra loud and was keeping us up no matter what. So about 3 a.m. that night, I had turned this off. Now, I regret that decision 110%. And ever since that night, I have never let Aiden sleep without a monitor on him, and especially not without a video monitor on him. Very important. And I still like kick myself that I turned that monitor off. I just thought between 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. when I woke up, he'd be asleep or he'd be fine. You know, he'd never had any issues in the bed before. It had always been fine. Anyway, that morning Zoe ran into my room screaming, "Mama, mama, mama, something's wrong with Aiden." And I remember saying, what do you mean something's wrong with Aiden? And she said, "Mama, Aiden can't breathe." So I panic. I jump out of bed, I run downstairs, and I rush into his room, and he had worked his way underneath his mattress, okay? So his body was between the mattress and this shaped spring situation right here. Aiden had gotten his body through. So Aiden had gotten his body through one of these squares, pushed it apart, stretched the springs apart with his feet, gotten his body through underneath one of those, and I guess his strength gave out or something as he was slipping underneath it, because the spring snapped back into that square shape around his neck. And I thought, I don't know what I thought. I was in panic mode. I was screaming. I told Zoe to run upstairs and get my phone. I tried to get him out. And I worked my fingers down in it and I pulled really hard and I couldn't get him out. I'm trying not to like cry thinking about this, you guys. Hold on. Anyway, y'all, I haven't talked about this since it happened. I don't even think I talked about it when it happened. I was so devastated by this and I felt so guilty for this, and I don't know, you think your kid's safe, you know? Anyway, he had gotten himself through that square and it was pretty tight around his neck. I was able to reach my hands in around the spring and pull it apart enough so that he could breathe. And I don't know, it's like a blur from this point out, but I would have to ask Zoe. I'm pretty sure as I was pulling it, Zoe took his legs and pulled him the rest of the way through. And y'all, he had red marks around his neck. And I called 911 and an ambulance came and they checked him out, and they didn't see any need to like take him to the hospital because when they got there, he was breathing fine. He was alert. He was okay. They checked his oxygen levels. He was okay. He was fine. But it was a very scary rush of emotions to thinking, oh my gosh, my child is choking to death, to an ambulance coming, to them checking him out, and having to explain the bed situation to the ambulance crew. It was just awful. It was scary. It was really scary. And because of our attempts, our very well-meaning attempts to keep our child safe, he was actually in more danger, and we didn't even realize it until this happened. We thought he was so safe, you guys. We thought he was so safe. That day, right after that happened, we disassembled the bed. The bed was disassembled and we got rid of it. And then we were left scrambling for another solution. And we didn't know what we were gonna do. For about a week, I just slept with Aiden. Like, I just slept with him in his room, on his mattress, on the floor. And that's how we worked it, because it was the only way I could think to keep him safe. It's really hard to like relive these moments. So this next picture I'm going to put up is a picture of a closet. And I don't have an actual picture when we decided to put his bed in there and fix it up. I didn't want to, I don't know. I just didn't take any pictures when we got his bed put in there. See, this is why I'm a bad storyteller, because I also left out something fairly significant as well that kind of adds to that mom guilt. So before this incident happened, about, oh gosh, we had just gotten the bed. So maybe 5 months before this actually happened. We were excited about that bed initially, and we shared on YouTube with you guys the new bed that we thought was so safe for Aiden. And some of you guys didn't agree. Some of you guys saw that bed and you thought we were putting our kid in a cage, that we were mistreating him. And we had some viewers call Child Protective Services on us. Now, I've never mentioned this in vlogs because I don't like to bring light to this, because it's a very serious thing, and I don't believe that it's okay to call Child Protective Services and just make something up about a family. And we've had those calls as well. We have had calls where people are just literally trying to cause trouble. But this particular call, I do not believe that this caller had malice intent. I didn't see it like that at the time. I was very upset. I was very hurt by it. It's never easy when your parenting comes into question and when someone's basically calling you a bad parent, when you're doing everything in your power to keep your child safe. So they called Child Protective Services on us about this bed, the one with the netting. They came out, they looked at the bed. They didn't really say much about it. They did say that it was not legal to confine a child in that manner. However, Aiden is not a typical child. And we explained in depth to them the need for this bed, the necessity for this bed. And they contacted therapists, doctors, teachers, and luckily all of them were in agreement that yes, Aiden needed a bed like this. Yeah, that was really hard. That was hard. It's hard to have a social worker banging on your door, screaming at you. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. There are cases where they have to do that. If you're not answering the door, they don't know what's going on. For all they know, there is an abused child within that home. So they have to use whatever means necessary to get you to answer the door. So they were not knocking nicely when they came to the house. They scared all of my kids. They scared me half to death. I don't do well under situations like that. I get very panicky. I start talking really fast and I kind of look suspicious. Like I have something to hide even if I don't. Just because I get so nervous. Ooh, my neck. So anyway, they came in, they looked at the bed. The case was obviously dropped. My kids were clearly not abused or mistreated in any way. We were acting in a way that we thought was best for Aiden. We had doctors, teachers, and therapists back up our decision, and the case was dropped within, I think, 2 weeks. However, it kept happening. People kept seeing that video and people kept calling them, and it got to a point, and I don't mean like a couple of times, you guys. I don't mean a couple of times. I mean, it kept happening. Someone would call probably every week for a long time. And we never said anything via YouTube because we felt like that's what that person wanted. We felt like that person was watching our channel and really trying to see what was gonna happen, you know, like, oh, are they gonna get their kids taken away? Like, what's gonna happen? Obviously, there was no reason, you know, there was no case, basically. However, it was partially, how do I explain this? Oh my goodness, this is hard, you guys. This is really hard to like sit down and like explain to you guys. And I'm having a hard time remembering exactly what happened when. I know exactly what happened, but remembering the order in which it happened is messing with me. Because it's honestly just something I don't like to think about. So anyway, after a while, we felt like we were on a first name basis with the social worker. Bless her heart. Bless her heart. She did understand that we had a YouTube channel. We obviously showed her our YouTube channel. And after a while, they stopped just coming out to our house when they would receive a call. They would still call us and let us know, like, hey, this same person called again, and we'd say, okay. And then obviously after a certain amount of time, the case would expire and then they'd have to come back or whatever. That it was just this ongoing thing for the longest time. We haven't had any in a long time, thank goodness. It's just super, I don't know, you guys, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. And I feel like maybe it's partially my fault because you show this bed that you've crafted for your child that you think is really, really safe, and people don't understand. People think that you have malice intent when they're not the ones dealing with your child being in the bathtub in the middle of the night, or in the kitchen in the middle of the night, or wandering the house, or having fear that he might get out of the house or harm himself. You guys, Aiden used to have horrible self-injurious behavior, and if he was left unattended or just free to wander, he would self-injure. And it was always my biggest fear, like something's going to happen. And he's a little Houdini too. He tries so hard to get out of everything. But this was scary. I'm not kidding you guys when I say I have a horrible headache. I'm trying to think of all this again. Like, this rattled me and upset me to my core. And I think it should have upset me. Anyway, after that incident, we disassembled the bed that day. Obviously, I was not going to put him back in that bed, but we had to find another solution. And I slept with Aiden for about a week after that, and we decided that we were going to fix up kind of like a walk-in closet area for him. So that's what this looks like right here. This is what the walk-in closet looks like, or looked like, at our old house. I had a couch in there for the photo because I had not yet figured out a bed for Aiden. I did not know what to put in there for a bed. We didn't have the doors figured out at this point. We had a lot of work to do. All I had done when this picture was taken was put up him a shelf with some little stuffed animals, with his baby monitor, and like a few pictures. Just to make it look like a little bedroom. I don't know what I was trying to do. I hated the fact that this is what we were resorting to, first of all. But we had to run a ventilation system in there. Like, we had to run our air vent in there so that there was air circulation. We had to change the doors so that it would close and latch properly. A lot of modifications had to be made from the time this photo was taken. But because of what had happened with the bed with the netting on it, I didn't show it. I didn't share via YouTube what that end result looked like because I couldn't. Because people were calling CPS. People already thought that we were terrible parents. You know, it was just a really rough time. It was really, really hard to go through all of that. And I was angry at the time. I was so angry. I thought, why? How could anybody think that we have ill intent with our kids? How could anyone think we would abuse our kids? Like, we would never. But I have to give some grace to the person that called about his bed, because they were right. They saw something in that bed that wasn't safe, that even I didn't see, and the therapist didn't see, and the doctors didn't see, because at that time we did know about Sleep Safe. This bed that Aiden is about to receive, we did know about Sleep Safe, and we had tried to get our insurance to cover a Sleep Safe bed, and we were denied. You know, we were denied, and I didn't pursue it again for a long time. When Aiden had to move into the closet, I pursued it again, trying to get him a Sleep Safe bed, because I thought this is the only solution. This is the only thing that is going to keep my little boy safe. And we went through the doctor, and the doctor had to write a letter of necessity to our insurance company, and he did that. And we sent it off, and we thought, this is it, no big deal. Insurance is gonna cover this bed, or insurance will at least cover part of this bed, and then we can cover the rest. You know, it'll help significantly to get him this bed. And some time passed, and again, we were denied. And by this time, we had Aiden already in that closet space. And it wasn't ideal either. He was kicking holes in the drywall. He was biting things. It was so scary. It was so scary, you guys. I went through years and years not sleeping because I was so scared for my child's safety. I mean, like, petrified to my core that something bad was going to happen to him at night. And then you combine that with the hopelessness that, man, we're never gonna get this bed. We couldn't afford the bed. There was no way. We can't afford a bed like that now. We definitely couldn't have afforded it back then. There's no way. But it was such a necessity. And we kept being denied. And then I found out about some grants, you know, Sleep Safe offers some grants. They're amazing like that. They are an amazing company. And as we were in the process of trying to apply for one of those grants, we had to prove that insurance had been denying us. So we had those denial letters. But we thought, you know, we're gonna try again. We're gonna try one more time because our doctor kept saying there's no reason that you should be being denied. So we didn't want to unnecessarily apply for this grant. If somebody else needed this grant, I don't know. We needed the grant. I don't know. Anyway, we tried for a final time to get this bed. Went back to the doctor. I had the doctor reword the wording of the letter because sometimes insurance companies will see one differentiation in the wording or one thing that like could be stipulated as not completely necessary and they'll deny you for that. So he reworded it in a way that there was no way they were going to be confused as to the necessity of my son having this bed. Again, we were denied. And at the point of that denial, we were getting ready to move into this house, the house we're in right now. So we're denied by insurance 3 times. And we live in the state of Alabama, if anyone's wondering. So denied for a Sleep Safe bed 3 times. And when we moved into this house, my father-in-law went to Lowe's and he got some fencing from Home Depot. And we got the girls' old bunk beds. And I'm gonna show you guys a picture of this bed. And he put it together. And I was proud of this bed. I thought, yes, this is it. We can't qualify for a Sleep Safe bed, but this is gonna keep my child safe. This is going to keep my child contained. And we've been in this house almost 2 years, and this is the bed that he's had with the fencing. I stupidly showed the bed in one of the first videos after we moved into this house, and again somebody called Child Protective Services on us because they said we're putting our child in a cage. I cannot deny that it looks like a cage. It looks like a cage. And guess what? His Sleep Safe bed is going to look like a cage, but it's not. It is how my son is staying alive. It is how anyone in this house is getting any sleep. It is literally for his own protection that he has to be in a bed like this. I cannot have my son, who is totally blind, autistic, wandering the house. There are no words for me to explain to you how dangerous that is. Aiden can unlock doors, you guys. He can unlock doors, he can get outside, he gets into things, and he would hurt himself. He would hurt himself. No doubt. No doubt. So you can kind of see it on the monitor, but I'll show you guys an actual picture of it. So you can see, well, it's not focusing very well. Aiden's asleep right now, but you can see on the monitor kind of what his bed looks like, but I can see him and what he is doing. I will say that He has never hurt himself in this bed. He has never gotten out of this bed, with the exception of a couple of nights ago, and I'll get into that in a moment. He's never gotten out of the bed. The bed has worked great. But going back to the mesh bed, and that's just what I'm gonna call it, the mesh bed. I don't know what else to call it. The bed of doom, this bed. I'm mindful and very paranoid about something unforeseen that I cannot fathom happening, if that makes sense. So I keep him on a monitor. I check on him multiple times a night, even with a video monitor. I have him and Narquise share a room, mainly because I know Narquise will scream and holler if anything is wrong with Aiden. So that's kind of my theory as well. I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted all the time. I'm stressed all the time, worrying about my child. And it's not fair that kids like Aiden can't get access to these sleep safe beds that are literally going to save their life. And when families can't get access to these beds, when these families can't get approved by insurance to have these beds that they can't afford. These beds are not cheap, you guys. They're very, very pricey. It leaves families no choice. You don't have a choice. You have a special needs child and you're not being approved for this sleep safe bed. You have no option but to craft something together yourself to try to keep your kid safe. And that's what we did for years. Initially, it was due to ignorance. We didn't know about sleep safe. We didn't know. And I think so many families just don't know. So we are incredibly thankful to Karen and Joe. We are incredibly thankful to Sleep Safe and everything that they are doing for our family. It is a godsend. And my kid's gonna get to sleep through the night, and Mama's gonna get to sleep through the night, and it just makes me, oh my gosh, I have shed so many tears, you guys. I have shed so many tears. Being stressed about his sleeping situation, and just knowing that all of that is going to go away when he gets this bed. It's going to be amazing, and I'm so excited for him to get it. It's gonna be padded. It's gonna be safe for him, and he's not gonna be able to hurt himself, and he's not gonna be able to get out. And I'm gonna know that he's safe, and I'm not going to jolt awake every hour or two and frantically stare at my video monitor of him, trying to make sure he's okay. Because it's been a journey. It has not been an easy journey. Aiden is a wonderful child, and he has taught us so much. And I love him immensely. And I just want to keep them safe. It's all any parent wants, is to keep their kids safe. And I've had a lot of learning to do. This bed was a mistake. But I didn't know it was a mistake until something terrible happened. I can prevent any other family from having some sort of horrible thing happen, like could have happened to Aiden, because let's face it, this situation could have been way worse. It could have been worse. What if Zoe hadn't heard him? What if Zoe had not heard him that morning? That was a godsend that my daughter heard him, because I had this off, because I was so exhausted, because I was so depleted, because I just wanted a few hours of sleep without all of the noise. there's a lot of guilt, you know, there's a lot of guilt that goes into it. But at the end of the day, I have to know that we were doing our best. We were doing our best. And our best just wasn't good enough at that time. It did not hit the mark. You know, it was not good enough. So, oh man. Anyway, the bed he's in now, you guys are obviously going to see it. It's going to be disassembled, thank goodness. I'm so excited to get rid of this bed and kick it to the curb, literally. And you guys are gonna get to see us put together this, this amazing new bed for Aiden. And we're gonna be able to put up blinds in the boys' bedroom. You guys, I have kept the boys' bedroom at this new house totally bare bones. There's nothing on the walls, there's no curtains, there's no blinds, and I have not done that because I have been so fearful that Aiden would get out of that bed. And if he did get out of his current bed, I wanted there to be nothing in that room that he could possibly hurt himself with until I could get to him. And keeping that room that way paid off a couple of days ago, you guys, because he did get out. He did break out of that bed. And I emailed Karen from the Six Blind Kids channel. I emailed her that night and I was like, Karen, he got out of this bed. I can't even believe he got out of this bed like a week before he was supposed to get this brand new one. And luckily my father-in-law was able to come over and tweak the bed and fix it so that it was safe for him in the meantime, until we get this sleep safe bed. But he had just jiggled it so much that one of the hinges had come loose on the bed, so he had to reconfigure the hinges on it. But anyway, it's been working. He has not gotten out again. He's been doing fine in it. But my goodness, are we glad to be able to get this bed for him. And I'm so incredibly thankful. I have no words. And while this has not panned out how Karen and Joe and I intended for it to pan out, the end purpose is the same. And that's what matters. And I'm just so thankful. You know, I always say at the end of our vlogs, I always say live to inspire. And I really feel like that's what Karen and Joe are doing. They live to inspire, you know, and we try to do that too, obviously. But if you guys are not subscribed to their channel, please go watch their channel. They are amazing. And we are eternally grateful for this gift that they have given us, and that Sleep Safe has given us as well, because Sleep Safe has been amazing in this and very helpful. And they spoke with me and talked to me about Aiden's specific needs and what he's prone to doing and how we can keep him as safe as possible in this new bed. So this bed is custom to Aiden and his tendencies, so that is amazing. But anyway, I'm excited for you guys to follow along, so stay tuned. You guys are going to get to see what happens next, so I'm really excited. But I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go. I hope you guys are all doing amazing. Thank you so much for sitting through this video with me. I hope I kept up with some of the photos. Let me see, did I miss any? I don't even know, did I miss any? Let's see. I don't think I did. So, you guys are amazing. And I know some of you guys have been with us from the beginning, from day one. You're all amazing, whether you just showed up here or whether you've been with us for years. We're in a good place. You know, we're in a good place, and I'm thankful. I have nothing but gratitude for all of the hardship that we've been through. I'm just gonna end it there. But I hope you guys are doing amazing. And don't forget, you guys, always live to inspire. Bye, y'all.